Hello and welcome to Turn to Your Doom, a choose your own adventure podcast where we explore the many paths and meet the many ends of a choose your own adventure book. Today we're going to be doing another branch of The Rescue of the Unicorn by Deborah Lerme Goodman, the Debbie Machine. And with me is somebody who is stowing away on a ship. Art.
Hi. I believe that transportation should be available to everyone, and you can't keep me off of something that I want to be on anyway.
You can't stop me. Well, in the other half of the book, even when the sailors did find her, they didn't, do anything about it.
No, they were just like, hey, you're just do some work, I guess.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, clean, here's a mop and a bucket. Go to town.
Which honestly, I think that's what you should just do with stowaways anyway. Don't be mean to them at all. Just okay, just pay your way by becoming my employee.
Yeah, honestly, they're probably already desperate. They probably already have nothing.
Yeah, they're sailors and they're dirty.
Yeah,
and they suck.
Gosh, gross.
Yeah,
nasty.
Ew. Yeah, but. Hopefully this branch is more fun.
Yeah, this branch actually breaks into two separate branches, and one of them is very long. There's a lot to it, so we'll see which one of those we get today.
I don't know. We didn't get those big swings that we normally get.
I feel like this will be more interesting, this side of the book. Last time we decided, so we found a unicorn that is on a ship that's going to Scotland, and we have the choice of either and we're at this port because we're meeting our friend Wyatt's before he leaves, and we had the choice of either deciding to save the unicorn right then, or we could go see Wyatt's, and we decided to save the unicorn. So we stowed away, we went to Scotland, there was all that stuff, because
apparently the right answer was just leave the unicorn behind.
Go see our friend.
That was the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, are you ready to go find our friend?
Sure.
It takes a while, but you finally find your friend. Wyatt's waiting impatiently several ships away. I was worried about you, he exclaimed. My ship is almost ready to sail, and I would be so sad not to say goodbye. Sorry to keep you waiting. I just saw a unicorn being carried onto a ship. A unicorn? I didn't think there were any left. A bell clangs loudly from the bow of the ship. Better board the ship right now, a sailor calls as he rushes past. I made this for you, you say to Wyatt's, thrusting the unicorn-embroidered handkerchief into his hand. Before he can respond, another passing sailor yanks Wyatt's by the shoulder, saying, Let's go! You watch him drag your best friend onto the boat. Suddenly you're fighting back tears, wondering if you will ever see Wyatt's again. And that reminds you, the unicorn. You might still be able to rescue the unicorn. You race back to where you saw the unicorn, but there's no cage in sight. Finally notice one ship is flying a unicorn flag, which seems to be a good omen. As you stand staring up at the ship with the unicorn flag, a smartly dressed captain walks up to you. Looking for a job? We're about to leave, and our cook hasn't shown up. He points to the next boat over. The captain reaches into his pocket and takes out a small drawstring bag. He plucks out 3 silver coins and holds one up. You see it is embossed with a unicorn head. 3 silver coins won't be your pay for... 3 silver coins would be your pay for the voyage to Edinburgh. But what about the ship with the unicorn flag? If you choose to go with the captain on his ship, turn to page 11. If you choose to sneak on board to the ship with the unicorn flag, turn to page 14.
Let's work with the nice dude for now.
Okay. Thank you, sir, you tell him. I'm ready to go. The captain smiles and replies, Call me Captain Hollett. And come, let me show you the ship. Captain Hollett leads you below the main deck, past crates and baskets and barrels, and even a few chickens pecking at the wooden planks. Here you go, he says, pointing at a dozen hammocks swaying in the air. Claim one for yourself. Stow your things below. He looks at you closely, maybe noticing your lack of luggage for the first time. Not traveling with much, are you? Come, I'll show you to the galley. You follow Captain Hollett towards the strangest kitchen you've ever seen. You were used to cooking on a hearth in your cottage, but this is just a pile of embers in an iron basin. Cooking utensils hang from the side of the ship. Am I supposed to cook right away? He tells you. I'm going to start this voyage. One thing, Captain, you call, and he's already half turned away. Is there a unicorn on board? The captain throws back his head and laughs. No, the only animals we're carrying are those chickens. If it's a unicorn you want to see, Scotland is the place. I've never seen any myself, but the Scots talk as if unicorns are as common as cats. Cooking for a dozen sailors and a few passengers keeps you busy from dawn until long past sunset. You collapse into your hammock each night and dream of a land where unicorns are as common as cats. As the ship approaches Scotland, Captain Hollett calls you over. You've done a fine job. I'd be happy for you to stay on and sail back to Bruges with us. But if it's a unicorn you're yearning to see, I'd recommend having a look around Scotland here. Scotland. Here, let me give you your wages. He offers you 3 coins. Not a fortune, certainly, but more than something you've ever held in your hand at one time. Suddenly, your life seems full of opportunities. If you decide to stay on board and return to Bruges with enough money to make some big changes, turn to page 24. If you decide to disembark in Scotland to look for unicorns, turn to page 25.
Let's go back and, just, like poor shame everyone. Be like, hey, motherfuckers, I came back richer than ever, you bitches. You know, just, get some shutters,
yeah,
shades, and make sure you get a grill.
Yes.
Get haters with haters across it and
yes.
Diamonds.
Yes,
that's it.
100%. On the voyage back to Flanders, you think about your life there. With Wyatt's gone, your village will be rather boring, and taking care of a tiny farm all by yourself has been difficult. You're quite talented with a needle, but you have so little time to embroider because of all the plowing and planting you have to do. When the ship returns...
all the plowing you have to do, am I right? Got to keep all those housewives happy, you know.
Oh my god. When the ship returns to Bruges, Captain Hollett pays you 3 more coins. The 6 coins you hold represent your future. You find an embroiderer's guild in Bruges and ask to become an apprentice. Although you have to spend many hours with the needle, you still have time to explore the wonders of the city. You make friends with the other embroiderers. Your hard work and talent are recognized and rewarded. Before long, you were promoted to journeyman and then master. Your specialty is embroidering unicorns, and your trademark is a thin strand of silver thread flashing along the unicorn horn. You never see a real unicorn again, but years later, you do run into Wyatt, who is back in Bruges after traveling so far. Reunited at last, you two begin a real adventure. The end.
The real adventure is you guys fucking...
No, you get married.
No. You get married and you have a fun time with your...
True love.
Yeah. Okay, so, here... I don't know. I was hoping you'd spend your money on something dumb. And then, like, that...
Yeah, you are like a teenage girl, but you are also a very responsible teenage girl, so...
I guess.
I do like the endings where she gets to follow her passion.
Yeah, I do, but also I like the endings where she dies in a way that, like, archaeologists
really
have to find out.
Like when she exploded.
Like, or just, like, she fucks up so bad that archaeologists are just like, I wonder what the fuck happened to this bitch.
What happened? Why is the skeleton under a church in a cave?
Like, why does it seem like there was a man masturbating while the volcano was going on?
I mean, you can't let a natural disaster interrupt your good time.
I mean, the true Gooner, he's never going to.
I mean,
never going to come.
He. Damn.
It's been several hundred years.
It's been so long. Will he ever get any relief? He's 100%.
Rip that guy. He would have loved internet porn.
Oh my god. Maybe his dedication to gooning, it has been rewarded, and he's been reincarnated as some sweaty 20-something.
He's up in Olympus gooning with Zeus.
With Dionysus.
Oh, Dionysus. No, Zeus likes to come too much.
Yeah, this man would not be able to keep up.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. She does get a lot of apprenticeships and just follows her dreams and have a nice time, doesn't she?
I know. Every time she leaves her village, she is so happy. Like, just live your dreams, girl. Just do it. Fuck those other people. The only one who is worth anything is old and gonna die soon. Okay. Alright. If we go the other route, if we decide to stay in Scotland and look for unicorns. Thankful, how convenient, it's literally the next page. You wave goodbye to Captain Hullet and the crew. Edinburgh, where you land, is much smaller and much less grand than Bruges. You remind yourself that unicorns probably avoid big cities, so this may be for the best. It takes you a few minutes to realize that people are talking, but you can't understand them. Even though you know a bit of Scottish, this is not going to be easy. You wander a bit until a sign hanging over a doorway catches your eye. It shows a winged unicorn, something you've never seen before, or even imagined. You were just about to go inside when you hear Flemish being spoken nearby. 2 young sailors are chatting in your language. If you decide to go inside and see what the winged unicorn sign means, turn to the next page. If you decide to ask the Flemish sailors for help, turn to page 29.
Let's talk to the Flemish sailor.
Okay. You walk up to the Flemish sailors. Do you know where I can find a unicorn, you ask them? It's funny that you should ask, one replies. We delivered a unicorn just yesterday. He was on board all the way from Bruges. You can't believe your luck. Where is the unicorn now? The sailor shrugs. It was carted out of town yesterday, says one. They were taking it to a castle, the second sailor adds. To the north, I think. Thanks, you exclaim. I'm off to find that unicorn. It won't be easy, says the first sailor. It's probably inside a castle by now, and there are many castles in Scotland. You have to go outside town past the walls, says the first sailor. When Flanders had unicorns, they never wandered around Bruges, did they? You leave the walled part of town with little idea where you're headed. Use the sun to direct yourself north. You walk for hours through a narrow green valley between mountains. The ground is spongy, and with every step, water squishes around your feet. The earth in Flanders wasn't like this at all. Your throat is parched until after you've walked a long way. Your ears finally catch the hushed roar of water rushing. The sound leads you to a dazzling pool of water, fed by waterfalls. Something you've never seen in Flanders. Using your hands as a cup, you drink the sweetest water you've ever tasted. You splash into the waterfall and dance around, recharging from your long journey. Even though you don't know where you are, you haven't felt this relaxed since you left Bruges. Your eyes close and you drift off to sleep. When you wake, a strange and luminous creature is sitting beside you, stroking your hair. She isn't exactly blue, but there is a bluish light emanating from her. She sings to you, and weirdly, you understand that she is inviting you to join her in her home. You try singing your thanks, and she seems to understand. When you ask where, she points to a cave behind the waterfall. It's the home of fairies, she explains, and you are welcome. If you agree to spend the night with the fairies, turn to page 130. If you worry that fairies can be mischievous and you had better not trust her, turn to page 132.
If you want to tell her your true name and eat all the food that she offers you, and also just do that while standing in a perfect circle of mushrooms. Yeah, let's go. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's go to the land of fairies.
Spend the night with the fairies. Okay.
For sure. She's definitely going to eat us. 100%. But...
That's fine. You follow the fairy to a narrow path behind the waterfall and into a cave. You expect it to be completely dark, but there is an odd bluish glow that makes it possible for you to see a little bit. There are several other fairies there, and they cluster around you, patting your arms and shoulders very gently. They offer you a plate of something fluffy and blue. At first, you do not eat it. It doesn't look like food, and it could be a dangerous potion. Yet, as time passes, you become famished. The fairies seem really kind. You take just a tiny nibble, and it is sweet and fresh and utterly delicious. You fill your mouth with more. You haven't tasted anything this sweet since you ate wild berries back home. And nothing you've eaten since leaving Bruges has even half this good. You sigh with pleasure as you eat more. When you are finally full, you curl up with the fairies. They drape their arms around you to keep you warm. To your surprise, it feels very cozy, and you quickly fall asleep. The next morning, you enjoy some more blue fluff for breakfast. You are having a wonderful time with the fairies. But you do have a unicorn to find, so you sing your story to the fairies and ask if they can help you. All 8 of the fairies nod their heads yes. Singing in unison, they explain they can give you luck. But the catch is, you can't control whether it's good luck or bad luck, so it's risky. Please give me good luck, you sing. The fairies huddle together with their arms around each other's shoulders. They begin singing in strange tones, low like bullfrogs and high like bird whistles, echoing around the fairy circle. Suddenly, they throw their arms up and burst out laughing. The fairies lead you out of the cave where a gray horse stands waiting. You climb on its back and wave goodbye to the fairies, and the horse trots away. Even though you don't know where you're going, the horse seems to, and you just hold on to the mane and ride. After a few hours, you arrive at a castle, and waiting by the door is a unicorn. You can't be sure it's the unicorn from Flanders, but you hug it anyways, and the unicorn licks your cheek affectionately. I have to go back. It's been an hour since your breakfast with the fairies, and you decide to see if you can get some food inside the castle. You knock, and then knock again. Finally, you push open the door. The castle is splendidly decorated with tapestries and leather-bound chests. Hello, you call, but no one answers. You wander into a hallway lined with paintings and stop. The first painting shows a unicorn, standing beside a magnificently dressed woman with jewels adorning her wrist. The crazy thing is, the woman looks exactly like your mother. Except that your mother never had any nice clothing, never mind jewelry. You blink your eye.
Yeah, because your mom was colorblind and had awful taste in fashion.
Really just the awful taste in fashion. You blink your eyes and look again. Is your memory playing tricks on you? It's too much to think about, so you walk over to the next painting, only to find it's your father, wearing a clean linen shirt and silk vest. Next to him is a dog. And with shock you realize it's the dog you had when you were younger. You feel you might faint. You sit down on a trunk to think. But there is no way to make any sense of this. When you push yourself up from the trunk, you hear a dull clicking sound. Opening the trunk, you find it's halfway full with gold coins. You pick one up and examine it. There's a unicorn on it. At that moment, you remember the fairies giving you luck, and realize you received not just good luck, but wonderful luck and a whole new life. The end.
I don't know. That feels like I feel like they're gonna eat your firstborn or something.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They ate your dog.
Whatever. Yeah, you get a dog and then immediately
it gets eaten in front of you by fairies.
Yeah, just like, oh no!
Oh God!
What happens is this was as soon as you accepted our deal. This was anytime you have a pet, and we're just gonna eat it in front of you immediately.
You can never have a pet again. All right.
And also, by the way, we include babies as pets, so no.
Oh my God! Okay. If we decide to decline their offer, you politely decline the fairy's hospitality and walk away. Almost immediately, the weather turns foggy, so you can't follow the sun. You look back, but can't see even 6 feet behind you. There's no point in wandering this mist. You climb onto a big rock and close your eyes. It's not comfortable, yet you fall asleep very easily. When you wake up, you find yourself in your own bed, in your own cottage in Flanders. You pull your hands out of the covers and rub your eyes, and discover you are clutching the unicorn-embroidered handkerchief, the one you gave to Wyatt's. Or did you? The end.
What? Where's the death? Where's the death? You should have died an awful death.
Right? You should have gotten eaten by the fairies.
Yeah, and they have tiny mouths, so, like, it's real hard for them to eat you.
They do a lot of noshing.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's go all the way back. So instead of talking to the sailors, we're going to go inside the place with the unicorn sign.
Huh?
You swing open the door and step in nervously into the shadowy room. It takes a few seconds for your eyes to adjust to the darkness, and then you notice a woman dressed in red. Her hair is red too, and it seems as if there is small stars tangled in her curls. She speaks to you, but not in a language you can understand. With an enticing smile, she beckons you to approach. You take a deep breath and calm yourself, and walk towards her. You take your hands in hers. She takes your hands in hers, and this time she speaks and you understand perfectly. She asks why you've come to Edinburgh. I've come to rescue a unicorn that was taken from Flanders, you explain, relieved that she seems to understand you. Do you know it was taken here? She asks, not really. I just heard of Scotland is a place of unicorns, so I came to investigate. The woman sighs and smiles. Scotland is indeed a place of unicorns. Some people say they're as common as cats, but that's not exactly true. At that moment...
They're as common as dogs, which is just about as common. I'm a stickler.
At that moment, you notice the white cat brushing against the woman's ankles. Do you have winged unicorns here too, you ask? I saw one on your sign. Not yet, she admits. They're called pegacorns. So far, they're more of a dream than a reality. Wow, I'd love to see one, you exclaim. In time. But tell me, can you sew? Actually, I've been praised for my embroidery, you answer with pride. You think about the unicorn you embroidered on the handkerchief for Wyatt's. Where is Wyatt's now, you wonder? I don't imagine you've done it before. Do you think you could sew feathers to make a wing? Asks the woman. You shrug. Probably. If you can do that, you have yourself a job here, says the red-haired woman. If you accept the job offer, turn to page 70. If you were determined to rescue the unicorn, turn to page 75.
I don't know. Let's do jobs. You know, it'd be a lot easier to find the unicorn if we're in one place and getting information.
Okay, you're really saying fuck this unicorn. It's on its own.
Well, I mean, what? If it didn't want to be captured, then it should have gored everyone who was after it.
All right. Thank you. You reply. When can I start? Right after we are properly introduced. You may call me Dame Scotia. You introduce yourself and follow Dame Scotia into another room, where two more white cats are sunning themselves in a patch of light near the window. She shows you a large wing partially covered with white feathers, but it's not like any wing you've ever seen on a bird. For one thing, it is as large as your outstretched arms. It doesn't appear to have been a part of a bird. Is it for a costume? Dame Scotia hands you a basket of white feathers and then pulls a needle and thread out of her pocket. Why don't you continue sewing feathers on the wing while I prepare some tea for us? Ugh. Sewing feathers is pretty tricky work. Another white cat appears and sits at your feet, purring as you sew. You wonder where you would sleep at night. As if she's read your thoughts, Dame Scotia appears with a cup of tea for you and explains, your food and lodging are included in this job. There's a nice cozy room for you upstairs. She examines your sewing and smiles. Excellent work. You finish the one wing by the end of the day, and sew another on the next day. Your third day there, Dame Scotia announces, we're ready to create a pegacorn. She picks up one of the white cats and puts it in the center of the floor, and strokes its back until it falls asleep. You watch Dame Scotia arrange two wings on either side of the cat. She combs her fingers through her red hair, picking out a few small stars. She sprinkles the stars over the sleeping cat. Closing her eyes, she murmurs words you can't understand. In a matter of minutes, the cat has transformed into a winged unicorn. You rub your eyes with disbelief and suddenly understand that Dame Scotia is no ordinary woman. You turned a cat into a unicorn? Dame Scotia smiles. That's why we say unicorns are as common as cats here. Pegacorns, however, are my new creation. In fact, this is my first. Now let's see how those wings work. She strokes the pegacorn's head.
I don't understand. I don't understand, Faith.
She turned a white cat into a unicorn.
She downgraded it. Turn it back to a cat. Why don't you give the cat a horn?
Excuse me. She turned a white cat into a pegacorn.
I don't care. Is it shaped like a horse? Is it no longer a cat?
No. Well, maybe on the inside.
No, I don't care about what's on the inside. I care about what's on the outside.
She strokes the pegacorn's head and it scrambles up, calmly looking around. With her hands on its back, Dame Scotia leads the pegacorn outdoors. If I get a bridle, would you ride the pegacorn into the air? She asks you. This is the most exciting offer you have ever had. While Dame Scotia puts the bridle on the pegacorn, you climb on its back. Taking the reins, you ask, What do I do to make it fly? The words barely left your lips when the pegacorn saunters and the silvery wings start to flap. Great swooshes of air pass you. You feel yourself rising and squeeze your legs around the pegacorn's body. You're flying. You circle around Dame Scotia's house and notice that you can see the harbor. And you make larger and larger circles until you're flying over the water. Suddenly it occurs to you that you might be able to fly back to Flanders. If you decide to fly back home, turn to page 77. If you decide to return to Dame Scotia, turn to page 79.
I like the idea of just stealing the pegacorn. Let's do that. Let's steal this pegacorn.
Fly back to Flanders? Okay.
Yeah.
You feel a little bad about stealing the pegacorn, but you're certain that Dame Scotia will be able to make another. Besides, you can't wait to introduce the pegacorn to Flanders. You get your bearings by using the position of the sun to figure out which direction is south and turn the pegacorn's head towards Flanders. It does occur to you that this journey could take several days, but you have time. It's true you failed to return the unicorn to Flanders, but you introduced a pegacorn that turns out to be the sensation of the nation. You are famous, you're happy, and you have a pegacorn that loves you. The end.
I mean, it's not the worst ending.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's not the worst ending.
if we decide to return to Dame Scotia, you circle back to Dame Scotia, who is waiting in the yard behind her house. You really aren't sure how to make the unicorn land, but you press your hand on its neck, directing its head downward. The pegacorn gradually slows, and with a few skips lands in the yard. Your heart is pounding. Dame Scotia hugs you and says, We're a team. Let us give this pegacorn something to eat, and then get started on another. I want this pegacorn to have a friend of its own kind. Every week, you and Dame Scotia create another pegacorn, and almost every day, you fly. The end.
Okay. I mean, whatever. I don't know. That was kind of a nothing ending.
Yeah. Except you live with your cool redhead witch friend.
Yeah.
Alright.
Can't you turn other things into horses besides
white cats? So,
although I prefer a darker cat, so that the dirt doesn't show up as much.
yeah. I know. We're in that time of year where Misa, our calico, who's mostly white, likes to roll around in the dirt.
Yeah.
Alright, so, if we go back, instead of accepting the job offer, we're determined to rescue that goddamn unicorn already. Thanks, you say, but I've got unicorns to find. The red woman sighs. You're going to need help. Here, take one of my cats. She picks up a cat and places it in your arms. Almost immediately, it blinks its green eyes and begins purring. You always liked cats, but having one now seems like it will just complicate travel. I can't take your cat, you say. I don't think I will be able to take care of it on my journey. Besides, a cat might scare off the unicorn. The woman smiles with secret amusement, and you don't really understand. It's up to you, of course, but Eleanor would make an excellent companion. If you return the cat to the woman, turn to page 80. If you accept the cat, turn to page 84.
It's a pretty big responsibility just to spring on someone. Like, here, you're going on a mission. Here's something that would make it a little bit harder.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's a cat.
I know, that's the thing. Let's take the cat.
Okay, so page 84. Let me grab a bookmark real quick. There we go. Well, thank you, you say, still feeling skeptical. Do I have to carry Eleanor the whole time, or will she just follow me? Just the opposite, says the woman. I suggest you follow Eleanor. You put Eleanor on the ground, and she walks out the door, flicking her tail. You turn to follow, waving goodbye to the woman with red hair. Following the cat through the streets of the town might be the most ridiculous thing you've ever done. But no one seems to pay any attention to you. You walk through an opening in the walls that surround the town and follow Eleanor down a winding path into the wilderness. The land looks nothing like Flanders. It's much hillier, and in the distance you can even see mountains. The ground is soggy, and water often oozes around your feet. You reach a strange circle of tall stones that's like nothing you have ever seen before. You pause, tempted to explore them, but Eleanor prances ahead, her tail bobbing in the air. She leads you to a small stone cottage with a mossy roof. The door swings open before you even knock. A white-haired man comes to the door and takes one look at the cat and exclaims, "Eleanor, what a wonderful surprise!" He cradles the cat in his arms. "How do you know Eleanor?" you ask. "She's one of my sisters," he replies. "You mean one of your sister's cats?" you ask. "No, one of my sisters." You look at him carefully and notice he does have strange cat-like ears. In fact, his mustache is really a lot like Whiskers than any mustache you've seen before. He beckons you in, and when he turns, you notice a long white tail protruding from his tunic. You're really curious about his tail, but instead ask, "How did you know I speak Flemish?" "Oh, is that what your language is called?" "I just speak what I need to." He looks at you closely, gazing directly into your eyes. "Don't do it," he says. "Do what?" "You want to explore the stone circle nearby, but don't. It's not a place for you." "I won't," you say, but truth is, you are more eager than ever to take a closer look. He looks at you again and sighs. "Let me give you and Eleanor something to eat, and then the two of you can sleep by my fire. It's getting too late for you to continue your journey." He serves you and Eleanor a small fish and a bowl of milk. You don't remember seeing any water or cows nearby. Where did the food come from, you wonder? While you are eating, he makes a nest of blankets for you by the hearth. "I think you'll be comfortable here," he says. "Good night." You crawl under the blankets, and Eleanor nestles beside you. You try to sleep, but too many questions are racing in your mind. Is he a man or a cat? And what about Eleanor? Is she really just a cat? What about that stone circle? Why shouldn't you go there? As you puzzle over these mysteries, you become aware of the faint sound of drums. It must be raining, you think to yourself. You snuggle deeper into the blankets, and Eleanor licks your cheek. The more you listen, the more certain you are that you're hearing beating drums, not rain. You scramble out of bed, wrapping one of the blankets around you. As you open the door, Eleanor meows, her tail standing straight up in the air. You ignore her and shut the door behind you. There is just enough moonlight for you to see the stone circle in the distance. As you walk in that direction, the sound of drumming gets louder. Yet, when you arrive there, you see no drums, no people, not even a cat. Something is pulling you into the circle, but you remember the cat man's warning. If you choose to step into the stone circle, turn to page 55. If you reluctantly return to the cottage where Eleanor awaits, turn to page 90.
Let's do the first one.
Go into the stone circle. Okay.
Yeah.
I just missed it. There we go. You take a deep breath and step into the stone circle. At first, the drumming sound is deafening, but soon changes to thunder. You watch lightning split the sky. Just as you were wondering why there isn't any rain, A bolt of electricity races through the sky to the top of your head, down your spine, and through your legs into the earth. In one quick sizzle, you've left this world. Oh, the end.
Oh.
So you got fried by Thunderbolt.
That's what I was missing. That's what I was missing. Like,
Yeah. Top of your head, down your spine, through your legs, into the earth. Damn.
A good fucking conjurant, apparently.
Oh, fuck. R.I.P. Oh, yeah, apparently you're just, like, the tallest thing there, too. A small teenage girl. Alright, so, if we decide instead to go back to the cottage with Eleanor... By the way, I love that he makes a nest of blankets for you.
I mean, that's great.
That's the best hospitality. I'm like, oh my god, this is exactly how I sleep at home. In a pile. Alright. Back in the cottage, the sound of drumming fades. You climb back into the nest of blankets, and this time, it's easy sleep. When you wake up, Eleanor is curled by your chest, but there's a second white cat beside her. Good morning, you say, looking around for your host. The second cat perks up. Where did you come from, you ask the cat. It flicks its tail. You make some tea and find some dried fish in the cupboard to eat. You share some with the cats. Remembering the milk you had for dinner, you go outside and see if there's a cow nearby. It's a damp morning and too misty for you to see the stone circle. You stroll around looking for a cow, and you spot one resting in the meadow. The closer you get, the less it looks like a cow and more like a unicorn. But there's no horn. The poor unicorn is bleeding from a wound on top of its head. You rush over and wrap your arm around the neck. Unicorn blood trickles onto your arm. You've heard of people cutting off unicorn horns, and right now it seems like the cruelest thing you can imagine. You know a bit about healing from Marie Claire, the herbalist in your village. You need something to stop the bleeding. You examine the grasses until you find a spider web stretched between some of the thistles. As carefully as you can, you lift the web off the thistles and place it over the unicorn's wound. The bleeding stops, and the unicorn nuzzles you. As gently as you can, you guide the unicorn back to the cottage, hoping it isn't scared of cats. Inside, the two cats are napping, but they leap up as soon as the unicorn enters. Luckily, the unicorn pays no attention to their excited antics. You settle the unicorn by the fire. Even though you're hungry, all you want to do is lie next to the unicorn and stroke its head. Oop. However, Eleanor has other ideas. She stands by the door, meowing urgently. You want to go outside, you ask, and open the door for her. Eleanor steps through the door and looks back at you expectantly. She meows again and flicks her tail. You look back at the unicorn. It seems to have fallen asleep, and the second cat is snoozing beside it. Okay, you say, and follow Eleanor. She leads you to a small pond, and you see the fish from the cupboard come from. But Eleanor isn't looking for fish. She paws at a strange bluish moss growing on the rocks at the edge of the pond. You scrape some up and hold it to your face. The cat meows sharply. I have to turn to page 99. She turns and starts heading back to the cottage. You follow her back, carrying the moss. Inside the cottage, Eleanor rubs the unicorn's head with her tail and looks at you expectantly. As you put the moss on the unicorn's wound, both cats start purring loudly. Unicorn lifts its head with renewed energy. You decide to go back to the pond and get more moss and try to catch a fish for breakfast. When you return, you examine the unicorn's head, and you are amazed to see a little nub of a horn has grown back. You spend a few more days at the cottage nursing the unicorn while its horn grows back. The Catman never returns, and the cottage becomes a home for you, the two cats and your unicorn. Every morning, Eleanor leads you to something new. A patch of berries, an ancient apple tree, and one day, a lost and lonely cow. As the unicorn regains its strength, winter approaches, and it seems better not to travel in the cold, especially when the cottage is so inviting. You spend the winter, and then the rainy spring with the unicorn, the two magical cats, and a cow. The seasons pass. You have a home and a unicorn. The end.
Well,
I like how you have a unicorn and magical cats, but the cow is just like a normal-ass cow.
I mean, that cow has a rich inner life. Maybe don't, judge it too much.
Yeah, it has a lot going on.
It actually has a lot going on. Like, it has plans to write multiple novels, but, like, it doesn't have enough time after work. Really? It's too tired.
It has a lot going on. Alright, we're gonna go all the way back to when you're offered the kitty cat, and if we decide not to take the cat. That's very generous of you, you say, but I can't really travel with a cap. Be very careful of Redcap, she warns, but you were already waving goodbye. It's a bit of a shock to return to the streets filled with people speaking an unfamiliar language, but you communicate your desire to buy some food. The coins you earned on board the ship are welcomed by shopkeepers. You head out of town not really knowing where you are going. You think back to the woman's warning about Redcap, and pay attention to what people are wearing on their heads, so you don't run into trouble. It occurs to you that she was wearing red too, and you try to remember if she had a cap herself. You only remember the stars in her hair. You walk for hours, and it's getting dark. Not too far away, you see what might be the ruins of an ancient castle. It seems a bit spooky, but at least you wouldn't have to sleep in the open. So you step off the path and head into the castle. The castle must have been grand once, but now the roof is caved in, and the whole wall is collapsed. Vines grow over much of what remains. Still, it's better than sleeping out in the open, so you walk inside, stepping carefully over fallen stones. You are squatting in what might once have been a grand hallway, eating the food you bought in town, when you hear a strange rhythmic clanking sound, as if someone wearing heavy iron boots is approaching. A chill runs up.
As if someone in the harbor is just really going to town with someone.
A chill runs up your spine. Maybe the castle is haunted. If you decide to run out of the castle as fast as you can, turn to page 94. If you decide to hurry up a staircase, turn to page 96.
Let's do the first one.
Run out of the castle.
Yeah.
Okay. This to here. Okay. You race down a hallway and out of the castle, running faster than you have ever thought possible. You don't even turn to see if you are being followed. The forest looks frightening, but you need a place to hide. You wander a while between the trees and finally find a large boulder to sleep beside. You are breathing so hard that at first it's hard to fall asleep, but eventually exhaustion overwhelms you. It is still nighttime when you open your eyes. You struggle for a moment to remember where you are and look around to remind yourself. You can't see much except a pair of green cat-like eyes watching you. You blink, and the green eyes do too. As your eyes get used to the darkness, you can make out the shape of a large black cat with a white patch on its chest. Even though this cat is the biggest you've ever seen, about the size of a large dog, it's still just a cat, and you've always liked cats. It hasn't attacked you yet, so maybe you should try and make friends with it. Then you remember the frightening footsteps in the castle. Could this cat be what you heard? If you call the cat...
Is this cat a 6-foot-tall man in a heavy armor?
I'm just imagining that meme with that guy from that anime, just like, is this a pigeon? And it's a butterfly. If you call the cat over, turn to page 120. If you run from the cat, turn to page 124.
Let's embrace the cat with love.
Let's become best friends. All right. Come here, kitty, you whisper, motioning with your hand. The cat saunters over and curls up next to you. You stroke its head and it starts to purr. Before long, the cat is nestled in your lap, keeping you warm. Where do you live, kitty? You must be eating so well to get this big. The cat meows in response, and to your astonishment, you understand it. My name is Seath, and I live alone because everyone is afraid of me. People either try to kill me or they run away from me. I'm so lonely. Oh, Seath, you say, that's so sad. We can stay together. I'm trying to find a unicorn, and maybe you can help. No sooner are the words out of your mouth that Seath leaps off your lap and into the darkness. You wonder what you said wrong. Suddenly you feel lonely too. You have just about given up hope of ever seeing Seath again when the cat returns, dragging a unicorn by the neck. What?
What the fuck?
You shout, "Let go of that unicorn!" I was only trying to help, Seath meows sheepishly. Well, thanks, but a dead unicorn does not help me. It's not dead.
It's not dead, it's just almost dead.
It's not dead yet.
It's gonna wake up, like, very concerningly once you try to, like, put it outside and scare the shit out of you.
It's not dead yet, Sith meows. The cat nudges the bleeding unicorn with a paw, and you can see it is still alive. The unicorn's eyes flutter open. You wipe the blood with the hem of your tunic. I need a safe place for this poor unicorn to recover, you tell Seath, and it's not going to be in that castle. Of course not, meows Seath. An evil goblin, Redcap, lives in the castle. Even I don't go there. I know a cave that's big enough for the three of us. Follow me. It's not easy to drag the injured unicorn to the cave, and you fight back.
I love this cat.
I know. And you fight back tears each time you hear it whimper. By the time you get there, the unicorn's coat is covered with dirt and leaves. Once the unicorn is settled, you go off to find a spider's web to put over the wound. It's a trick you learned from Marie Claire, an herbalist in your village. At first, the unicorn is understandably terrified of Sith, but slowly it gets used to Sith, curling up nearby. Seath becomes very useful, carrying back in its mouth fresh moss for the unicorn and a small red squirrel for you to cook. You're not used to starting a fire by rubbing rocks together, so it takes you many times, but eventually you manage to roast the squirrel. You're hungry enough, but it tastes delicious. By the time the unicorn has healed completely, you've gotten pretty comfortable living in the cave with Seath. You expected the unicorn to leave when it was well enough, but it turns out the unicorn is very comfortable too. The three of you spend your days roaming the forest and your nights curled up together in the cozy cave. The end.
How do I feel about this?
I'm fine with living with a giant cat that can get you anything you want.
I'm pretty good with it, because first off, most of the pain points that I have with Dexter, being a person who loves him so much, is he doesn't know how to speak English, and I feel like he's refusing to, like, out of
just specifically out of spite for you.
Yeah, like, I think he's learning, like, French or something, but, like, not English.
The worst of the romantic languages.
For sure. But, like, you have a unicorn, and you're living in a cave, which is, I'm jealous. I've been wanting to live in a cave ever since I learned what caves were.
You just spend your day, like, hanging out in a forest? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so if we decide not to beckon the cat over, you scramble to your feet and run away. It's nearly impossible to see the dark forest, so you've barely gone 10 feet when you trip on something and land face first on the ground. A second later, the cat is on your back, sinking its teeth into your neck. The end.
Oh, well,
Rip.
That's the opposite of what I would want to happen.
Yeah. Why can't we be friends?
I mean, you can be friends in hell. No. But, yeah. I guess the cat likes it when you, I don't know, talk to it. Like it all.
Yeah, when you want to be friends. Just what's a friend? It's like the warlock. If we've learned anything, sometimes the thing you think is evil just wants a friend.
Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes someone who you think is evil, they are, but if you're nice to them, they're pretty cool.
They're like, oh, well, I don't want to be evil to you. That's the secret.
Yeah, befriend the weird one. The one that looks like he's might do something,
Yeah.
Yeah, befriend that person. The quiet kid. He might get that note like, don't come into school tomorrow.
Oh my god.
And then,
Jesus.
you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And whenever you get, and you better not snitch on him.
No.
Snitch on him.
No. I ain't no narc.
Yeah, even though it'd be like, yeah, he only had one friend and he didn't show up that day.
Yeah, it's a little suspicious. Just tell them you had mono or something.
Yeah, I was making out with so many babes. I just
I got mono. That's why we were friends. We were making out. All right.
That would probably make it seem even more suspicious.
Damn it. Fuck, you're right. You're so right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you can't make out with the person who gives you the note.
We both drank from the same water fountain. That's how I got mono.
Yeah.
All right. So if we decide instead to run up the staircase in that spooky castle instead of running out of the spooky castle, the stone steps are uneven, so you can't exactly run up them. But as quickly and as quietly as you can, you hurry up to a landing. At the top, you peer down at the creature that enters the hall, and your heart stops. Even in the darkness of twilight, you can see a pointy red cap. It looks like some kind of goblin, not any taller than you, but much hairier. He's wearing boots made of iron and is carrying a spiked club. You squint your eyes to see better. Is he trailing blood? You don't dare take a step or even breathe. He turns around slowly, sniffing the air. Then he starts coming up the stairs. Each time his metal boots hit a stone step, you feel your death approach. You turn to run, but realize the second floor is mostly in ruins and open to the sky. There's no place to hide. You glance back at the goblin. He's just 2 steps from the top. You scramble to the top of a broken wall and look down at the ground below. It's not terribly far to jump, but you would land in a pile of rocks. If you decide to jump, turn to page 93. If you're afraid to jump, turn to page 100.
I mean, let's say we're afraid.
Okay.
Let's say we're afraid, yeah.
The red-capped goblin... Okay.
Oh, that's the sound you make whenever you're too afraid to jump. Like, eee!
That's also the sound I would make if I did jump and I broke my ankle. I would not scream. I would be like, eee! The red-capped...
You wouldn't do the thing that a lot of people do in movies where it's just like, yell as loud as possible to make yourself known, because, you know, that's how they
scary
do it
goblin.
in movies.
I can't make that much noise. Scary. The red-capped goblin reaches the landing and raises its iron club. You take a huge breath, open your mouth, and scream as fiercely as you can. The goblin drops the club and covers his ears. You take a second breath and discover you can scream even louder. You grab the club and now you're in charge.
You find out that you actually have the mutant power to scream really loud, and you also use it to fly for some reason.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Go, you shout, pointing down the steps. You swing the club up to your shoulder. The goblin turns and scurries down the steps, but on the way he trips. As he tumbles to the bottom, his iron boots make a terrible sound. It just clings the whole way down.
It's a metal pipe sound.
That's exactly what I was imagining. When he hits the bottom.
It's a metal pipe sound, but for 10 minutes.
And it, like, repeats each step he hits.
And it's also max volume. You can't turn it down.
Oh, God. Oh. The goblin turns... Oh, this is your chance to escape. You dash down the steps. At the bottom, you take one look at the crumpled body and then run out of the castle. You feel nervous being outdoors at night, but at least you have the iron club for protection. You feel too jittery to sleep, so you decide to make your way as best you can in the moonlight, in case that goblin isn't dead. You want to get far away from the castle. You walk through the night. As the sun starts to rise, you think about your terrifying encounter with the goblin, and the red-haired woman's warning about Redcap. Why didn't you listen? You decide to go back and get more more advice from the woman in the red dress. Nothing looks familiar as you walk back to town. Just when you feel you must be going in the wrong direction, a white cat appears beside you. This cat is clean and cared for. It must live in a house. If you follow the cat, maybe it will lead you there. The cat leads you through a lush green valley, along a river, where you stop to drink. After a few hours, you arrive in a town, but you can't remember if it's Edinburgh, until you see the sign with the winged unicorn. You knock on the door, and when the red-haired woman sees you, she smiles and takes your hand. "I'm back," you announce. "Something terrified happened." The red-haired woman nods and picks up the cat. "That's why I suggested you take Eleanor. I sent her to find you. Wandering around Scotland on your own is really dangerous." "I know that now. I think I might just want to go home." The woman strokes the cat and says, "I offered you a job before, and that offer still stands, if you want it. But if you really want to go home, I can take you to the harbor and get you on the right boat. If you accept the job, turn to page 70. If you say you want to go home, turn to page 128.
Is it a different choice or is it looping?
It loops.
It loops, okay. So
if you take the job, you go down the route where you sew the feathers to make the pegacorn. 128. I think that's new. It is. It is new.
Oh.
Okay. I think this is the end of this tree.
Okay, how much do we have left? Because this is about the time we would end.
This is the last ending.
Okay, let's do the last ending then.
Yep, this is the very end of this tree. "Thank you," you say. "I just want to go home. I think I have enough money to pay for passage back to Bruges." "This time, you really must take a cat," she insists, looking around at several white caps that have now gathered around here. "Not Eleanor. Here, you can take Anaya." She picks up the smallest of the cats and hands it to you. "All right," you say with uncertainty. You nuzzle the little white cat and wonder why exactly the woman thinks you will need it back home. The cat blinks its green eyes sleepily and purrs. "Can you show me how to get to the harbor?" The red-haired woman leads you to the harbor and negotiates for you and the little cat to sail on a boat leaving later that day. You spend most of the voyage home curled up in a nest of blankets with Anaya in your arms. You keep thinking back to the terrifying goblin who almost killed you. You will also think of your friend Wyatt's, who won't be there when you return. Anaya is the only thing that cheers you up. Back in your village, your heart is heavy with disappointment. You put down the cat to open the door to your cottage. As soon as Anaya's paws touch the earth, she scampers off into the nearby woods. You run after her, calling, "Anaya! Why did the red-haired woman give you this mischievous cat?" You trail Anaya between trees, over rocks, skirting a muddy puddle, and you can't keep up with her. Go all the way back. There we go. Finally, the cat stops and looks back at you, flicking her tail. Straight ahead is a unicorn. The unicorn is nibbling moss growing on the side of a tree. It pauses and gazes at you calmly. Your heart beats with excitement as you realize there is at least one unicorn left in Flanders after all. Every day from then on, Anaya leads you to a unicorn. Sometimes there are 2 unicorns, and sometimes a baby too. You realize the red-haired woman sent you home with a cat that can hunt unicorns, and that's how you spend your days. The end. I mean, okay. I'm happy just to hang out with a cat.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Okay, so this tree, is there one more,
There is one more tree, and it's short. This is the longest tree. The next tree has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 endings.
Let's make this a little bit longer, and then, let's just do those.
Okay. So, we have to go all the way back. We have to go back to when we decided if, we wanted to hang out with the captain, or, yeah, sink on board. Oh, wait, no. We did do the other side. Sorry.
We're done?
Let's see. We went with the captain. Yeah. We've already done this. Yeah, so we're done.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, I guess we'll do the thing now where we discuss the book.
Yeah.
Oh!
I like our encounter with the goblin. That was my favorite part.
Okay.
With Redcap.
So we did have the things that I liked. I liked the you screaming and then the goblin getting overstimulated and
you just having the audacity, and that's how you defeat the monster.
I like that. I like that, there's multiple, cat-based endings as well.
Yeah, lots of cats. Just like the last book also had a lot of cats, a couple cat endings. Lots of cat stuff. Gotta love that.
Yeah, I will say, though, I feel like the other end, a good portion of this book just didn't do it for me, though.
Yeah, like there was that whole one tree that just wasn't very exciting.
Yeah.
But I feel like also exploding in a tornado, like I feel like that was peak. Like we will never get anything as good as that again.
No, yeah, we'll never get anything as good as that.
Just jumping into a magical tornado and fucking exploding.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the one where we turned into a baby and then forgot what we were.
Yeah.
I think there's that. I mean, that was cool.
That wasn't in the unicorn book, though.
No, it wasn't, but,
Yeah. We did lose our memory in the last one, though. There was an ending. The warlock also lost his memory and, just went on with his day.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of cat stuff. I liked us, just fucking with a goblin and stealing his club.
I mean, that club might have been enchanted. I mean, apparently high-level boss character.
Yeah. Jeez. We basically cheesed him. We climbed on top of a wall where he couldn't reach us, and we stunned him. I also that he fell down the stairs and then clanked at the bottom.
It's like whenever, there's, a condition where you can one-shot a boss character, you just have to do something very specific. And the only reason you know is because you read an entry that being like, this boss is allergic to fish. And you throw a fish at it and then, it fucking dies.
That's exactly. This boss has sensitive ears. You just scream at it.
Yeah. So, there's a Paper Mario 1,000 Years Door boss where, it does, where if you have the cricket sound effect badge, it does, less damage, it does less damage to you.
Yes!
Because it's noxious.
I remember that! Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah! That was fun. I love Paper Mario. Anyways. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a fun book. Another good one.
It was fun. It's just, I don't know. I just, I feel like the fun wasn't distributed.
Smeared around the book some more.
Yeah, that's my main complaint. It's not a big one, but it's But
yeah, we really just have one more book in this series too, which is The Flight of the Unicorn. Which there's a little preview at the. Or no, this isn't a preview for that. This is a preview for one we already read. Okay, never mind. But yeah, last one is Flight of the Unicorn. That's our last book in this series.
Okay. Well, and we're gonna be running out of some of the Lerme Goodman.
Yeah, because besides
Deborah's,
Flight of the Unicorn, The Horn of Terror is also one she did. What else did she write? I'll look it up. I think she only did those 2 mythology books and then the 4 unicorn books.
Yeah. I mean, they're good.
Yeah, we love the Debbie machine.
Yeah. I feel like, preview for the next one, I want to do Superbite because I remember it being fun, in a weird way. But also I want to do the one about Hollow Earth. So, I don't know. I'll probably... See, honestly, you know what we need to do?
What?
We need to probably do some of the ones that we know are mid. So
yeah, I know. I know. I really want to... I was going through my books, and I really want to read Escape from the Haunted Warehouse. That one looks fun.
Yeah, we should probably do some that we know aren't going to be, the best ones. Just so, we can spread the love around a little bit.
Yeah. I also have... This one looks very mid. Search for the mountain gorillas.
Oh yeah, let's. Some of those are fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They can be fun. They're just not, the best one.
Yeah. We have lots of options though. We have so many. I have so many books. So many. Oh yeah, Escape from the Haunted Warehouse also only has 14 endings. How much did this one have? 24, baby.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Time Travel In. We gotta do Time Travel In. Apparently
well,
that one was good enough to get a sequel, but we should do a mid one next.
Yeah, we should do some mid ones. Let's make a vow to like do some mid ones, and then when we get real upset about the ones that we don't,
we were like, why?
Yeah.
Then we can move on to the good ones.
Yeah. But I guess it's time for you to do the outro.
Yeah. So this has been Turn to Your Doom. And remember, if you see a goblin with a giant club, just scream at it. Problem solved. That's it. That's all I got. I'm so sorry. All right. Bye.
Bye.